In 1911, Australian explorer Douglas Mawson led the Australasian Antarctic Expedition, a mission to explore and study the uncharted territories of Antarctica. The expedition set up base at Cape Denison in Commonwealth Bay, one of the most remote and inhospitable places on Earth. Mawson's goal was to map uncharted regions and conduct scientific research in what was then a largely unknown continent. In November 1912, Mawson and two of his team members, Belgrave, Ninnis, and Xavier Mertz, set out on a long, dangerous trek across the icy wastelands to explore further inland. They traveled with a team of sled dogs, pulling sledges loaded with supplies, and ventured into some of the harshest conditions imaginable. Tragedy struck on December 14, 1912. While crossing a crevasse, Ninnis, along with the strongest sled dogs and a sledge carrying most of their food and vital supplies, plunged into a deep, hidden crevasse. The crevasse was so deep that Ninnis and the supplies were lost forever. This left Mawson and Mertz in a dire situation. They were hundreds of miles from base camp with very little food, no shelter, and only one sledge to carry the remaining supplies. The two men immediately turned back, but their journey became a nightmare. They had to ration their food severely, consuming what little they had left. As their situation worsened, they were forced to eat the remaining sled dogs to survive. A desperate act that provided some sustenance but had unintended consequences. The dogs' livers contained high levels of vitamin A, which when consumed in large quantities can be toxic. Mertz began to suffer from severe symptoms, including stomach pains, dizziness, and eventual madness. After weeks of struggling through the frozen wilderness, Mertz succumbed to the effects of malnutrition and possibly hypervitaminosis A on January 7, 1913, leaving Mawson alone. Now the sole survivor, Mawson faced an unimaginable challenge. He was over 100 miles from base camp, weak, frostbitten, and battling the brutal Antarctic conditions alone. But Mawson was determined to survive. Despite the overwhelming odds, he continued to push forward day after day, dragging his sledge across the ice. At one point, Mawson fell into a crevasse himself, but miraculously, he managed to stop his fall by grabbing hold of the sledging harness. He hauled himself out of the crevasse, a feat of strength and willpower that exemplifies his sheer determination to survive. Mawson's condition deteriorated rapidly. His feet were badly frostbitten, the soles peeling away from the skin, and he was suffering from hunger, exhaustion, and exposure. Yet he continued to inch his way back to base camp, driven by the hope of survival. After nearly a month of this agonizing journey, Mawson finally reached the safety of base camp on February 8, 1913. He arrived just in time. The rest of the expedition team had been preparing to leave on their ship, but due to bad weather, the ship had been delayed. This delay saved Mawson's life as he was able to return to the camp and be rescued. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss our new videos. Stay tuned for more incredible stories from history.